Yo, yo, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
What it do? What it do? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
You know,
Afternoon.
another thing goes.
What's going on, peoples?
Not much. So we here, right, to talk about an incident that happened with, we call him Izzy. We've called him Izzy from the jump, and he has definitely been super instrumental in a lot of the work that happens with the South End Roxbury Community Partnership. He's definitely a super squad member. And he knows all the work that we've been doing behind the scenes to address this public safety issue that I think a lot of people don't understand. And I want us to kind of be clear that we are not mental health providers. We are not substance use providers. We are business owners. We're parents. We're loved ones. We're everyday people that are not in the field of substance use disorder. And we're not providers. So I want people to understand that and make sure that you guys are very clear on that message, because the community are not licensed providers. We're not licensed substance use providers or mental health clinician, although some of our communities may have these individuals that live in a community. I just want us to kind of be clear that we're just everyday people with our own personal life, with our own personal struggles trying to address the inhumane and the unsafe conditions of mass incarceration. So, Izzy, introduce yourself and tell us, a little bit about what happened yesterday.
How's everybody doing? Isaiah Garcia, aka Izzy. I'm part of the South End Roxbury Community Partnership Group. Um, you know, so yesterday, let me just. Yesterday, I started off my day good. No matter what happened, no matter if the day still ended up good, because I'm here now. So yesterday, I was at, um, just thinking about it, just put my mind somewhere else. I was helping out Domingos De Rosa, with the Boston Bengals at the park. A little situation. We had a situation there also. A couple of guys arguing there, pulling out knives, and we didn't know what was going to happen. So the cops, they came over. They sat there for a little while for us. So so at the end of the day, I left around 8 something. I was like, let me walk down Mass Ave. I go on my live. I'm always like, I'm a type of person. I'm just like telling people how my day went. So that's what I was doing. Literally, it was like my talk about my daughter, talk about Domingos, and then while as I'm walking, and now how you say that we're not providers, we don't work in the hospitals, and okay, if everybody people that see my live and they will hear me asking a gentleman that was walking by if he works in the hospital, right? He said yes, and I said thank you for what you do. Now, I'm not putting saying that they're bad people. Nobody is bad in their ways, but from seeing him and then not even a minute later, that's where the guy was laying down. This nurse or that works in the hospital walked by him. That's the saddest part. When I was just like, oh shoot, I was like, literally, I was like, you here? I said it. I said, and everybody just walking by. So the guy's laying there, like, I God forbid, I didn't know. I was making sure, looking at his stomach. I saw him breathing a little bit, and I got his attention. And I said, yo, rise and shine, with a smile on my face, with a positive attitude. I lifted him up and everything. I say, God bless you, have a good day. And from there, just he kept on coming behind me, calling me, and I kept telling him, yo, just leave me alone. I'm walking. I'm done. I gotta be somewhere. And I crossed over towards the McDonald's, over towards Mass Ave. And as I was crossed over on the left side, there's a police car in front of the gas station, and he was just parked there. So as the guy's coming towards me, and I kept telling fam, I was like, listen. So I was like, I was being sarcastic. I was like, oh, you're welcome for picking you up. That's the one thing I did. He's like, so now I owe you something, and I don't know, because if you put it loud enough, I could hear it, but you could hear it when he flicked the knife as he's walking behind me. And I have my phone on live, and I'm staying the phone in front of me, and I had to turn around and face him and walk backwards as he got the knife in his back. And I looked over towards the police officer, and he was not even looking towards me. I don't know where he was doing, toward down, to the right, or straight, but he was not paying attention because he would have saw all that was going on. Right. I had to literally, honestly put myself in a situation and cross over traffic and almost got hit by a car. It started, I was like, oh, shoot. And I'm going like that, like, everybody probably think it's a laughing, but it's like, oh, shoot, like, really? Like, I had to do all that, then to go over to the passenger side and knock on the window of the police officer and let him know he just pulled the knife out on me.
Wow.
What could have avoided all that was just, it's not putting it's the pressure or whatever it is. If the police officer would have been paying more attention to his surroundings, that's not asking for a lot. We call 911 for a reason. And I didn't have to call 911 because he was right the fuck, excuse my language, he was right there where he needs, if I needed him or anyone, that's what he's there for. Right. And he was not paying attention. So afterwards, when the cop came out, and it was a sergeant, he came out and he's calling for backup. And as he's calling for backup, the guy's still coming towards me, and I'm still recording, and he's coming towards me, and just drawing a lot of attention from a lot of people for no reason. And no, after that,
reason, for a reason, brother.
Yeah. And then afterwards, the cop, the sergeant, and some other lady cop, like, the way they told me for me to get away, like, to leave, was just so aggressive. You could hear me. I said it on there. I said, excuse me. I said, if you're going to talk to me, if you're going to tell me to go, you need to be polite to me. You don't tell me, get out of here. You need to go. Because I just had a situation. I just almost got stabbed. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you going to come and treat me like I'm not like a victim?
Right.
And push me away, talking about, okay, and then the cop lady telling me, oh yeah, well, listen, you have to understand it. Listen, I stopped her, and I was, whichever way, I understand these people, and I'm not sorry for saying these people, because everybody's my friend, and people don't like when we say these people, and I'm going to continue saying it because I don't know them personally, and my friends are on here right now, on live, and my friends are on that I know. Just to clarify that for some people. But so the lady was just like, oh, no, well, you understand. So I told her, listen, I'm an outreach worker. I know, I understand what they're going through, but it doesn't mean it's okay.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I want Mingos to jump on this too, right? Because one of the things that kind of triggered me was that she kept saying, the female officer kept saying, these individuals are not well, right? We get it. We totally get it. But where's the discussion around whose life is a priority than others? So everyday community members have to remind themselves, which is great, to remind ourselves that these individuals that are residents of Mass and Cass are not mentally well, and they're navigating addiction. Meaning we can't do anything, we can't say anything, we can't react, we can't do anything while we're living in our community, trying to get to and from the grocery store. Because, there was another incident earlier this week with someone who has actually demonstrated with us. Huge shout out to Janet that was riding her bike, and they tried to, rob her from the bike. You know what I mean? Right. And she's 6 years old, right? So when do we have the conversation about behavior and what is condoned, and if the community members react, because there's only so much we can mentally take when our mental wellness is being triggered? How much can we take as community members when we can't even live in our own community? And Mingos, you can jump in on this because you're trying to run a program at Clifford Park, and that's where Izzy was at, supporting you, because you're having low enrollment numbers, right? because of this, because people are not mentally well, they're navigating addiction, and the community just has to stay in their lane and stay inside their house and not enjoy their community parks, not enjoy having their kids in extracurricular activities because of other people and their behavior, and no accountability on their behavior.
Right.
Well, Izzy came out to help yesterday, pick up needles and so forth, like we always do before we start practice. While we were there, we had an incident where two gentlemen were having an argument. One walked across the street to grab a weapon, came back, and we had a parent that was kind of like stuck, and she didn't know what to do. She's not from the area, so she's not even accustomed to it. She don't even live in Boston. She's coming from a town outside of Boston, and her take on it was, "Thank you, Izzy. If you didn't walk over here at that moment, I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I didn't know how to move." She was stuck. She was like a deer in the headlights, stuck. And that's the conversation we were having before Izzy walked off. And that's the reality for us as a whole community. We can't say nothing, because if we do, we're attention seeking. I'm looking for attention to address this issue. We're looking for attention to address this issue.
Right.
It's not fair. It's not fair, the fact that there's stabbings, 3-4 stabbings a week on mass and gas in front of police officers. And their response is, we can't do nothing.
Right.
You're there to protect and serve. Yes, I understand you can't stop an individual from injecting themselves, but you surely can stop someone from getting harassed, assaulted, accosted, someone who's publicly urinating, defecating on the middle of the street. The guy was laying in the middle of the street. In my eyes, you was doing exactly what anybody should have did. Hey, you all right?
Right.
Hey, what's up, guy? Are you okay? And the reaction is what you've seen on your video. These people are hallucinating. They're on all different types of drugs. So anyone who is looking to help, who works for some of these programs who are out there, that's the reaction they get when they find somebody knocked over and they're trying to give them Narcan to revive them, or they're just trying to get them some help, or they're just doing outreach to see if they can get them a bed for the night. That's the reaction you get. People are being assaulted, and the police pushes it aside.
Right.
I was concerned about Izzy's well-being. I'm glad that you didn't pull out a knife and stab him, because now you'll be in jail for assault while you're trying to protect yourself. I'm happy that you didn't get stabbed. But on the back end of it, listening to the police officers pissed me off even more at the fact that they wouldn't even take a report or even ask your name or even take the other person's name to issue a stay-away order or to start the process. Because this person, as you know, we've known him for a little while, and that's the way he is all the time.
All the time.
Who say he hasn't already stabbed 1 or 2 people down there and just walked away like ain't shit happened?
Right.
Yeah. Well, my thing with it too, like I said, like like I said, everybody could hear it on my video when the guy I told the cop a little bit afterwards, oh, well, listen, to the same sergeant. I was like, listen, he pulled out a knife on me. Where's the knife? I said, check him. Okay. Next thing you know, guess what? This guy, okay, listen, he's gone. He walked away. You freaking kidding me? Like, checking means like you make a report. The person's life was in danger, and do something about it. Take the knife away. Put him to the side. Take him over there to the jail or something, to the station. It's just a whole process that it should be done about it. And they didn't do one thing but come at me more.
Right.
Because talking about, oh yeah, you're just intimidating. You're just intimidated because I kept on being, you know what? Because whatever mentality that I have, that I keep to myself, and that I know who I am, and if I have a little ghetto in me, we all do whichever. And I was, no matter what, me saying, I could even say it, even now, I was saying on my live, I was telling him, yeah, I'm gonna knock you out. That's a thought. You get what I'm saying? That's a thought. I could have been saying so much more, but that's all I was saying. I'm gonna knock you the f out. That's it.
You don't even have to explain yourself, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
explain
Yeah.
yourself for nobody, because at the end of the day, you're a community member, right? And not everybody in the community is walking around with Harvard degrees, and we're not politicians, and we're not.
Yeah.
Everyday people in the community are different. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could have easily, like Domingo said, you could have easily pulled out a knife and stabbed the person back, because we do have those type of people or individuals in our community too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I've gotten stabbed. And I, and like I said, I'm not a superhero, but I've personally gotten stabbed myself from the back already in my eye. That's so I don't know how much attention I could get. Like you said, though, the only attention that we're getting is just for something to be done about what's going on out there. People not feeling safe to take a walk. Like Domingo was talking about the lady herself about. She's like, oh, I would love to take a walk and around the whole park, but I can't.
Right.
How can a person say that they can't? Not sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. In 2 weeks, I had a conversation with her. Like I said, she was like, oh, when she walked over, she goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And I'm looking at her like, "Excuse me." She was like, "Thank you so much for. I saw you. I had to walk over to you, and because I didn't know I was like, no problem." And I stayed with her, made conversation with her. Just, hey, so when you're having the baby, changed it up a little bit because even though she's pregnant and the stress is never good.
Right.
But for anyone, but it's not safe for nobody in the community.
And that's what we issue. That's what the issue is for us at Clifford Park. You can't walk around the park because the perimeters has all sorts of folks who are suffering from all different issues. If you walk by, you say the wrong thing, they're gonna pull out a knife. If you walk by and you look at them too long, they're gonna pull out a knife.
Right.
If you go into South Bay Mall and they ask you for $1 and you don't give it to them, they'll walk behind you and watch you in the store, and then when they come out, they'll snatch your purse, your wallet, or they'll break into your car. And I understand folks are suffering, but at the expense of everybody.
Right.
Right.
She's 9 months pregnant, and she's like, "Yeah, my doctor told me to walk, but I can only walk on this side of the park because the other side is not safe." I said, I understand. Make a call. So when people says, "Oh, did y'all call 911?" I said, "I called 911, 311, 411, 611. You name it, I got a 112.
All the 111s.
I got deputies numbers on hand. I got sergeants numbers on hand. I got city councilors who are running for mayor's numbers on hand.
Right. Wasn't you yesterday, Mingos? Yesterday, that's facts because yesterday Mingos himself was text. Who was it that you text? Talk about something being done about the policing out there. Oh, what was it, Mingos? They can't do nothing about it.
One of the deputies said, "Oh, we can't do nothing about it." Or so you can't send the bike unit, but you can have a bike unit at Blackstone Park in the South End. You can put units in Moakley Park because the groups out there had a shooting, and then all of a sudden you had every elected official in Massachusetts who holds a title from Stephen Lynch all the way down to Kalonji shows up for a group of kids in Southie, but the kids in Roxbury get treated like shit. So listen, man, September 14th. If you ain't gonna make the right decision and vote the road, listen, man, you're gonna deal with the same issues in the same way that we keep going about it because the people are being bought and sold for at your expense.
Right.
Facts.
That's what it boils down to, and that's what people got to understand. We may not be everybody's favorite, but I'll tell you this: we're having the conversations that everybody needs to have, and this conversation is uncomfortable. It's not fun. It's not pretty, and there's not a one size fits all.
Yachty, it's only uncomfortable for people who ain't being real about it.
Right.
It's only uncomfortable when you're trying to find the right lingo to make everybody feel like you're on the right side of the conversation. There's no right side or wrong side of this conversation.
Nope.
Because what happened yesterday this morning we can be mourning the loss of our friend
Right.
from
Facts.
helping somebody. The young lady who couldn't walk around the park, she comes from Belmont, and the students in her school make sandwiches and they give them out on Mass and Cash on Saturdays afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh my God, I gotta rethink this. Like, I actually see what really goes on, Mingos. Like, this is bananas. And you know,
Right.
me and Izzy, about an hour, we had this conversation with her because I like her son, I like her, and I want her to come back. And to give her the reassurance, it's like, look, I'm doing everything on my end. And that's when I show her text messages to the deputy that they turn around and says, oh, we can't provide a cruiser, but at the same time, you're spending $5 million to park cars, police vehicles on Mass and Cash to protect the individuals who are causing harm to themselves.
Right. Right. And I mean, and the question boils down to, if Izzy, as a regular person, without having a label of being diagnosed as someone navigating addiction or having a mental, health disorder or whatever the case may be, would Izzy be prosecuted? And this is a conversation that we need to have. Would Izzy right now be prosecuted for taking matters into his own hands because the lawlessness and the lack of accountability and the lack of oversight of what's happening on Mass and Cass? So who do we hold accountable, right? Because, like this is not okay, y'all. This is not okay. And no one should be providing kindness, being kind, being empathetic, being compassionate, right? Because we are being empathetic, we are being compassionate, and we're being kind, and then you're met with this level of behavior. So again, imagine all the kids in the community. Schools is about to start in a week, in 2 weeks? So
a week, yeah.
So is anybody talking about the kids walking to and from school? Because the individuals on Mass and Cass, or residents of Mass and Cass, their level of hostility is growing. So is anybody talking about our youth that are walking to and from school, who, because they don't provide, Boston Public Schools doesn't provide transportation, from middle school and up, if I'm not mistaken? So our youth who have to get up in the morning time to take, to try to take, public transportation. Imagine if they're confronted with something like this while trying to get to school in the morning time.
Yeah. And then you got some of them.
These kids have been getting confronted like that.
Right.
That's how it's been happening for months, years.
For months and years. You think about it, like.
But again,
if you think about it, my fault.
Right. Go ahead, finish.
My fault. Yeah, my fault. Go ahead, finish. My fault.
No, I didn't say nothing. I'm working, so.
I got you.
Talking.
I mean, yeah. I mean, as far as like the other day, with if a situation like that, and God forbid, like you say, like even younger kids, but as in teenagers, some of them with whatever issues that even they're having at home with their mentalities, that somebody out there is gonna be looking at them wrong, and they're gonna be, yo, what are you looking at? And then you got a teenager fighting with a homeless person or somebody that's out there. This is something that no kids should have to deal with at all. It's sad.
Oh, no, we're dealing with it because we don't live in Swampscott.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Swampscott.
And I mean, there was also a video that surfaced up from someone, was it at the beginning of this week, last week, that we shared, that people were also up in arms about it, where, I don't know, a youth tasered someone because an individual who's on down Dudley stole from her sister, right? I mean, you got a youth in the community carrying a taser? Like, what? Yeah.
And that was all that right there. That's okay. That like the attention getter or whatever. The young, and when she went to taser, even the lady was just like, "Oh, I already spoke to her." about whatever it was that happened, that she must have spoke to her sister after the fact or whatever. But it's still, you see everybody laughing and recording. That's the whole thing. Like, let's go make fun of this. Like, come on, that's
Right.
how can that's not okay.
And she has
Not acceptable.
We have misplaced our
Yeah.
values in today's society. We have misplaced our values, literally.
Right.
Because the young lady clearly was probably already mad and has had probably several run-ins with this individuals. The other kids who were recording, I mean, come on, guys. Like, not everything needs to be on World Star and not everything needs to be on social media, right? When it comes to certain things, right? So there's a disconnect, period, in this conversation. But to me, the biggest thing that came out of watching that video, again, was like watching your video, is that nobody's addressing this issue and the impact, and that one day someone's going to react on a community end's perspective and do something that, out of frustration, out of distressors, out of their cars being broken into all the time, out of them can't coming in and out of their house, you know what I mean? Them being robbed themselves, or, you know, or whatever. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and it's like, who wants to talk about that? And it's gonna happen. And what is gonna happen? Who's gonna be held accountable then?
We had a community member make a statement to 311 and was investigated by Boston police. Boston police anti-crime unit for making a comment to someone on 311 about what goes on their property and how they've been dealing with it, and how the city's been doing little to nothing to support this tax-paying resident who's paying taxes up the ass for property tax and excise tax. And the city's response was to sick their internal investigation department because this person made a comment where they took it as a threat.
Wow.
Saying he's going to protect his property. All of a sudden, he got police coming to his house, knocking on the door, talking about, yeah, we're here to investigate a statement. Meanwhile, we got people out here knives being pulled out. Kids' lives are being at risk. And they say, oh, we got our hands tied. They're picking and choosing when they want to assist and what community they assist. And that's my biggest pet peeve, is the fact that people in our community keep falling for the okie doke and following folks that are misleading them because they hold positions. Marty Martinez needs to resign. Not only him, Sheila Dillon, who deals with the housing, and also Jen Tracy, or Tracy Jane, or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Who deals with the substance community. These folks had these positions for too long, and because they got dirt on upper management in City Hall, they're able to keep their jobs without having any kind of review performance. I know anywhere you go work, after a few months you get a review performance, and if that review is crappy, 9 out of 10 times you don't get a raise, and 9 out of 10 times you don't stay there too long.
Yeah, right.
Right. This is, I don't know, guys. Like, to me, this is just all BS. Like, it's like it feels like the community is being held politically hostage while people beef it out, like while people are building their resumes, while people are building their platforms, and we're just getting caught up and being, like Mingo said, being sold a wool ticket, you know, in hopes that we do have somebody who can actually claim to do what they campaign to do, right? And we're just caught up in a beef.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. I know it's not easy at all because
follow the money. Follow the money.
It's I don't know. But I don't know, Izzy, what else y'all got to say? Because this is what message can we say about this all? You know, we've already called for Marty Martinez resignation. Marty, I need people to understand that every email that has been sent from the South End Roxbury Community Partnership has always been sent to Kim Ty, Marty Walsh, and now Kim Janey, Marty Martinez, Jen Tracy, Boston City Council. Every email that has been sent has included people who are in roles or who are in positions to address the situation. We have had forums with all the mayoral candidates. You know, we had one with John Santiago, but John Santiago ended up removing himself from the mayoral campaign, so he canceled his meeting with us. We've sent one to Kim Janey. We have not heard back from her. And meeting with our group, we've only had one conversation with Kim Janey.
After she became mayor.
Right. We sent that email, was July 14th, 15th, asking to meet with her as well. We haven't heard any response from her. So it's not like we're not trying, and we're doing what everyone, you know, is saying to do, like go do the civic way, right? Send emails, make phone calls, listen, we've done all of that, and people are running out of patience. We're running out of patience. And, you know, if we get nasty, don't blame us. Think about us as people who mentally are not well from dealing with this and repeatedly sending emails over emails, demonstrations after demonstrations. And think about us, that we're going to have a breaking point too.
Right.
And
we can't even get the park. We can't even get the park cleaned. Simple stuff. Quality of life. Simple stuff. Get the park cleaned. Instead of saying, oh, well, you know. Nah, I don't know. Because when I go to other parks and other shopping plazas, people are not dealing with that. When I go to Roach Brothers in West Roxbury, I don't got people ODing in the bathroom. I don't got people stealing food and trying to sell me the shit in the parking lot. I don't got people standing in front of me with my 5-6-year-old shooting in the middle of the street.
Right.
You don't see that at Brigham and Women's, at Mass General.
Right. And that's another part. Nobody wants to talk about the racial part of this conversation. And this is inequities. There's a racial inequity here, y'all, whether y'all want to admit it or not. Whether people like to hear this or not, this will never happen in white suburbia. It will never happen in white suburbia. Okay? So whether you guys want
to prove that? Didn't this group already prove that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is not equitable. You know, since equity is such a big, topic, this is not equitable. This is not equitable. And I'm going to keep saying it's not equitable, y'all. This will never happen in white suburbia. This will never happen next to a white private school. This will never happen next to a white public school. Okay? Where white kids ain't going to be walking to and from school seeing people overdosing, doing lewd acts. Okay? They're not going to see that. So I'm still waiting to hear newspapers who are following us, and journalists that are following us to actually do a story on equity and really unpack this conversation about why is this okay in low voter turnout communities, even though people have this misconception about the South End is rich, white, elite community. Newsflash, people, if you grew up in the South End, yes, there are some rich, white people in the community, but it's a very diverse community. And we do have a lot of low-income people in that community as well, in between those brownstones, just so y'all know. But y'all got to live in the South End to know that, right? So, this will never happen in a predominantly white community. And if Izzy might have been a white man, they might have done something. And that's just a fact.
No, it is. You're right. But
I don't know, y'all. But that's our beef for today. And we just wanted to make sure that y'all knew some of the content behind the scenes about, could have Izzy handled it a different, maybe. But that's not for you to tell. That's not for me to tell. He was the one experiencing this crisis. And not everybody's gonna stop and say, Hey, I'm so sorry you're feeling this way. I'm so sorry you're angry. Can you tell me why you're angry? Do I look like a clinician? Do I look like a social worker right now when I'm trying to walk to my bus stop?
Meanwhile, you're trying to keep a knife out your neck.
Right. So this also proves another part of the conversation is that we want to send social workers to address crises, right? Yes, I don't agree and disagree to some component. So who's going to be safe dealing with that?
Right.
Boston police are scared themselves.
Well, listen, as a first responder, the first thing you do is make sure the scene is safe.
Right. So, either which way, even if they want to improve social workers and have social services jump in and address crises and certain interventions, right? It got to get done with the police. So police got to show up first.
I'm going to jump off. I'm going to jump off and let y'all finish this interview, all right?
All right, guys. Well, have a good day, y'all.
All right, have a good day. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.